Hello, everybody. I absolutely love to travel. I particularly like to travel solo, independently. I did a lot of traveling in my 20s. I actually traveled for about 4 years and then spent the next sort of 20, 25 years having children, the eldest of whom moved to America. So these are my grandchildren, and I have done quite a lot of traveling in America now. Of course, this year it's all been curtailed because of the situation. But I thought I'd go through a few different ways I have travelled in the past. So, of course, flying is the obvious way, but I actually find it quite discombobulating. Getting on a machine, and then a few hours later, I'm a quarter of a way around the planet. So I decided the first time I went to America for my son's graduation to see if I could find a different way of going. And I came across cargo ships that they will take passengers. Now, it does take a lot longer and is more expensive. However, I can highly recommend it if you love being on the ocean and you love slow travel. So it was supposed to take about 6 days, actually took almost 9, but I had a big room all to myself and I could go up on the bridge whenever I wanted. The crew were absolutely delightful. We had beautiful calm seas, and I actually spent most of my time out on the deck in the sunshine, just looking at the horizon. The food wasn't bad. I do recommend taking a bit extra with you and making sure you've got plenty of books and DVDs to watch. Of course, once you arrive somewhere, then you've got to decide how you're going to move on, whether you're going to hire a car. In America, the trains are not bad, but there's not a very big network. It's much better in Europe and in Britain. However, I did really enjoy this double-decker train. My preferred way of travelling is long distance overland, is to go by bus. So in America, there's Greyhound. There's also Megabus, which you can find in Europe as well, and there's National Express in Britain. Where my son lives in Michigan, they have their own company called Indian Trails. You get to see so much of the countryside, you get to meet people, although I do highly recommend that you take your own food. They tend to stop for eating in the most awful, cheapest possible places you can imagine. And do take a blanket and a cushion because some of these journeys can be very, very long. Most of these buses nowadays do have like abilities to charge your phone, and some of them even have Wi-Fi. So you get to your town or your city, and then you're looking at a hotel or motel or Airbnb. But what about going and staying in a teepee? Or I stayed in this little shepherd's hut, which I absolutely adored, and had a little wood burning stove. And when I was hitching in America, a lady offered me her log cabin, and that was gorgeous on the edge of a national park. So maybe you want to do more traveling by sea. Maybe you'd like to sail. You can go as a crew on a transatlantic yacht. So, what I suggest is that you could do a competent crew course, which is what I did for 5 days. And then I went on this round Britain sailing expedition with a group of women. We were looking at microplastics in UK coastal waters. Absolutely loved it. I loved being able to be at the helm and ride the waves with the boat. We had pretty rough weather, but it was so cool. A calmer way of travelling by boat and much slower is to get a canal boat. There's plenty of canals in Britain and in some parts of Europe. I lived on a canal boat for 2 years. This boat isn't mine, it's a friend's, and I sometimes boat sit for them. But I've had numerous canal boat holidays. They really are a tranquil way to move. Or on the canals, you could even go by canoe. This is me in my inflatable canoe. Again, I was doing another plastics expedition. Now, I took a tent with me so that I could just stop and camp, but I've met other people who stay in bed and breakfast or Airbnb on the way. Looking for a bit more comfort? Then how about a camper van or an RV as they're called in America? This one even has a shower and toilet. And you can just about get anywhere in one of these by road. This is my little camper van. I've been living on and off in this for about 7 years, and I've been all over the UK. Absolutely love it. It is more like a tent on wheels. It does involve actually living outdoors quite a bit. The only downside to a camper van is that you don't really get to meet very many people, not like you do when you're travelling by bus or hitching. Another way on wheels is to cycle. This is my daughter and I cycling in the southwest of Ireland. Now, we did take a tent and camped whenever we felt to stop in the evenings, but most people would book, bed and breakfast or Airbnb and travel from one place to another. We absolutely loved it, and the Irish are really friendly. My favourite way of travelling, though, is with just a rucksack. Whether that's hitching, and I know that freaks most people out, but I've hitched in America and the UK and I've never had a problem. But my really preferred way of going is just long distance walking. Now, there are a lot of long distance trails in Britain. In fact, you don't even need to know how to map read because they're so well signposted. I'm showing you this little map because it's got my name on it more, which is rather exciting. The trails I've done in America, Canada, and I did a long distance trail in Mallorca as well, were much less well signposted. And also, they were not that well looked after. So they actually were quite grueling. So I would suggest that you're quite fit if you're going to do those. This is the Ridgeway Trail, which is the oldest walking path in Britain. It's in the south of Britain. I managed to get that in this summer 2020. And this is a lovely view that I took when I was walking and hitching in northern Michigan. There's a lot of lakes in northern Michigan and Minnesota and Wisconsin. It's absolutely delightful to be able to camp near them. This is the Anglesey Coastal Path. It takes about a week and it's relatively easy going. I came across a really good quote by Einstein, of all people, the other day. The woman who follows the crowd will usually go no further than the crowd. The woman who walks alone is likely to find herself in places no one has ever been before. Well, that really describes me. Well, I hope that's inspired you, or at least entertained you, and maybe our paths will cross one day.